everyone once again. It's me, your favorite little wolf, I think. Anyway, yeah, Alpha Trion is someone I do know that he rebuilt. Well, obviously at this point I know that he rebuilt Orion Pax into Optimus Prime. Other than that, I don't know what else he's done in the series. Well, I know what he did in Transformers 1, but I'd rather you guys go see that movie, because honestly, it's a really good movie. Like, it has my full support. Anyway, we're going to Himself and see where the heck it goes.
We're delving deep into Cybertronian lore again this week as we look at...
I will say this before we start. Transformers 1 is really good. Like, going into, like, I will say, making an origin story for, like, where Megatron and Optimus Prime were friends when they were younger, and going through it all, as someone else put it, someone who's more philosophical than me, basically put it, they had to make it so that it makes sense that these two couldn't just sit down, have a conversation, and work out their problems. This needs to last for millions of years. A conflict that would last for millions of years. And yeah, they made it work. Like, everyone, the only one I've said this 100 times, so I'm not going to mention it again, but everyone, the choreography on how they're fighting, the voice acting, all of it's amazingly good. Like, they did not need to make it as good as it was. But they did, and it really shows.
At one of the oldest Autobots there is, the historian of Cybertron, guardian of Vector Sigma,
historian.
mentor to Optimus Prime. These are the basics on Alpha Trion.
Ooh.
Alpha Trion was an original character created for the Transformers animated series. He was introduced in the 1985 episode The Search for Alpha Trion as a wise and enigmatic old Autobot with a mysterious connection to Optimus Prime, and he went on to play a key role in some of the most significant episodes of the show over the next 2 seasons, which gradually revealed his backstory. Known in his youth as A3, Alpha Trion was one of the first generation of Cybertronians created 12 million years ago, who led the Autobots' rebellion against their evil alien oppressors, the Quintessons.
I see.
Millions of years later, when the war with the Decepticons was just beginning, he rebuilt the injured young bots Orion Pax and Ariel into the first of a new generation of battle-ready Autobots, recreating them as Optimus Prime and Elita 1. After Optimus left Cybertron, Trion served as advisor to Elita as she waged an underground guerrilla war against the Decepticons still on the planet. The three were eventually reunited in the present day when Elita was captured by the Decepticons and Optimus returned to rescue her, then brought her to Alpha Trion for repairs. Alpha Trion was the custodian of the activation key to the megacomputer, Vector Sigma.
I have heard about this computer.
After the Decepticons stole the key from him, he gave up his life to grant the Autobots access to Vector Sigma's power, fusing with the computer and using his life force to bring it online. But though Alpha Trion was now gone, future episodes would see Optimus Prime use the mystic matrix of leadership to commune with his spirit in times of need. Trion's spirit would also appear in the Japanese exclusive...
As I was about to say, so he has a clear connection to the Matrix as well, along with Vector Sigma. Basically making a point where talking is no way forward. Yeah, they basically made it to where there's no way Megatron and Optimus would be able to talk to each other or talk things out in Transformers 1. It is really well made. I'm gonna stop gushing about it now. Anyway.
Sequel series, Transformers: The Headmasters, guiding Optimus Prime on a journey through Cybertron's depths and helping to re-energize the Matrix after its energies were depleted. As he was created for the cartoon, Alpha Trion wasn't represented in the Transformers toy line. In fact, he never even transformed once in the whole show. Still,
Trion is
he was
basically
easily
the Pope of Transformers.
most notable character invented for the series, and in the 21st century, new incarnations of Alpha Trion have featured in every major iteration of the Transformers
Really?
comic, virtually identical in appearance, personality, and role across multiple different continuities.
Okay. Where is he in
Following
Armada?
a brief name drop in 2001's Robots in Disguise,
Oh.
Ultra Magnus really is my brother. We were created at precisely the same time on Cybertron by an Autobot elder named Alpha Trion.
Oh. Okay.
most of Alpha Trion's appearances in the 2000s were in comic books.
I
Stories
see.
from Dreamwave Productions deepened the extent of his connection to Vector Sigma, establishing that he was the keeper of the vast database of Cybertronian history the computer contained, while the Transformers universe and Cybertron comics linked him to the Transformers god, Primus, whose will he served by gathering and advising Transformers from across the multiverse to combat the forces of Primus's evil brother, Unicron.
Alright. Cool.
He would return to TV screens at the end of the decade in Transformers Animated, in which he was a member of the
I don't
Autobot
remember
High
this at all.
Council,
But
and
then again, I
butted
didn't
heads
watch
with
it
the
much.
Autobots' arrogant leader, Sentinel Prime. The first merchandise of Alpha Trion was a non-transforming PVC figurine released as part of the Super Collection figure line exclusively in Japan in 2002. A recolor of the Beast Machines figure Snar, who transformed into a lion.
Wait. Is this the reason he has that transformation in the movie?
Was mocked up as a proposed exclusive for official convention BotCon around this time, to tie in with the character's appearance in the Universe comic, but it never went into production. Eventually, though, the first true transforming Alpha Trion toy was released exclusively at
Vector
BotCon
Prime?
2007, a retool and recolor of the Transformers Cybertron Vector Prime toy, which transformed into a Cybertronic spacecraft. Though the toy looked like any regular Alpha Trion, the following year, the Transformers Collectors Club comic revealed that this was actually an evil version of Trion from the mirror universe of Shattered Glass, who had been exiled from his home dimension by his Optimus Prime and schemed to return home and take revenge. Alpha Trion's place in Transformers lore underwent significant reinvention in the 2010s with the introduction of the Aligned Continuity, a multimedia project that combined ideas from the original cartoon and the comic books of the 2000s to establish a definitive modern vision for the character. In this universe, as introduced in the 2010 novel Transformers Exodus, Alpha Trion was one of the legendary 13 Primes, the first Cybertronians created by Primus in the primordial past.
Which Prime is he?
The third of the group created, Trion was the keeper of both the Covenant of Primus, a mystic record of Cybertronian history, both past and future,
knowledge,
and the Quill, with which he added to the book over the ages. While most of his siblings would eventually leave Cybertron, Alpha Trion remained on the planet to watch over the Cybertronian race, eventually becoming the Master Archivist at the Iacon Hall of Records, where he served as mentor to Orion Pax and ensured he would rise to become Optimus Prime. This version of Trion also appeared in the Transformers Prime animated series, in which he sent the many powerful relics stored in the Hall of Records to Earth, so that Optimus could use them to save the planet from the Decepticons. And he was the narrator of the 2013 guidebook, The Covenant of Primus, which detailed the history of the Aligned Continuity from his perspective. The Aligned Continuity's depiction of Alpha Trion as a Prime and a historian would go on to influence other series, most notably IDW Publishing's comic books. A slightly more eccentric and self-aggrandizing version of the character, IDW's Alpha Trion was introduced in 2010, working in partnership with the giant Autobot Metroplex to heal Cybertron of the damage done by the war. In later years, he would reunite with the Autobots on Earth, where his true nature as a Prime and a founder of Cybertronian society came to light, as threats from those ancient days returned to menace the Transformers of today. In
Alright.
2016, a new toy of Alpha Trion was released in the Titans Return toy line.
This actually might be why he gets this form in the movie. Because of this toy. I might have been wrong for the other one. Also, he's a triple changer?
Which, in a reference to BotCon's contributions to the character's history, triple changed into both a spacecraft and a lion. The toy's head disconnected and transformed into the tiny Titan Master, Sovereign. This feature was incorporated into IDW's comics in a special crossover event, which saw Alpha Trion's body be taken over by Sovereign, who was a servant of another of the 13, the evil Onyx.
They were
Prime,
all triple changers
was out
for
to
Voyager
pave the way
class.
for his master's return. Though Alpha Trion survived this experience, he would ultimately be killed by Onyx to keep the old bot from revealing his secrets.
I do love him as a historian, though.
Alpha Trion's made a variety of other appearances in Transformers toy lines during the 2010s, including both transforming and non-transforming figures, and he's also continued to show up in a respectable amount of media, notably making an appearance in the Transformers Cyberverse
I still need to
cartoon
watch this
in
show.
2018 as a member of the Autobot High
There's so many
Council,
shows I need to
fatally
watch.
wounded by Megatron early in the war, who passed the Matrix of Leadership to Optimus Prime before dying, which was followed by the release of a figure of him in the Cyberverse toy line in 2019. In 2020, he featured in Netflix's War for Cybertron animated series as the deceased mentor of Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus, who left behind a valuable collection of wisdom known as the Alpha Trion Protocols when he died. And most recently, he's appeared in IDW's new, rebooted comic book universe, Searching the Stars for Lost Cybertronian Artifacts. And that's the tale of Alpha Trion, a key figure in the saga of the Transformers and their ever-expanding lore, from the Covenant to the basics, from one Transformers historian to another. And those are the basics on Alpha Trion. If you've enjoyed this look at Transformers lore, leave a comment below and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more. Ring the bell to be notified about future episodes or get early access when you support the show on Patreon.
I will say this, I kind of like him as the historian, because someone has to keep the records, so why not a Prime? Keep the records of everything going on, and having, like, all of them like that just there kind of makes sense to have someone left behind just to keep all that knowledge in one place. At least to me. But I have to ask, what do you guys think of Alpha Trion? Do you like him? Do you hate him? He kind of looks like Sentinel to me from the Bayform movies. Anyway. Besides that note, that's probably where he got some of his... They probably the design they base all of him. Anyway, if you like what we're doing here and want us to do more, I think that Signal was based on him. Alright. If you want us to do more, well, like, comment, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff you do for streamers. And if you want to see me do it live, reaction live, well, come on over to Twitch. I'll be happy to see you there. Anyway, thank you all so much, and I'll see you there. Bye.